Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Jean.
And I'm Mike. And today we are doing the crossword for Thursday, June 19th, 2025. So, on Juneteenth...
Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth indeed. Did you do the crossword?
I did do the crossword.
And was it a cause for celebration?
Well, it was when I got it done.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Oh.
And how did you celebrate exactly? Was there a fist bump involved?
No.
Was there a shout of huzzah? Or perhaps a rendition of I am the champion?
No, none
of that? Okay.
Uh-huh. Just a little smile and a great feeling of satisfaction.
Was that feeling of satisfaction a short time in coming or a long time in coming?
Well, it took a while. But honestly, once I got the theme,
yes,
it went much faster.
Yep.
I got it answered pretty much right after that.
I tried to sort of ignore the theme.
I did too, but you really couldn't.
You could not. No, it was totally impossible to do without understanding and coming to grips with the theme.
That is correct.
So why don't we start with that?
Okay. Well, there were, three different themed... three different themed pairs.
Four, actually.
Four. Four different pairs of themed clues. And I'll just read the first one because that just went totally over my head. I didn't get it till about the third one here. But the first one was 20 and 22 across. 20 across was tattle on, or an instruction to answering 22 across. So it turned out that 20 across was rat out, tattle on, rat out. Okay, 22 across was proverbial bad thing to have your mind in. I'm like, I know that, it's gutter.
Yep.
So I put in gutter. Well, then I couldn't get any of the downs to solve. So I'm like, well, I'm just not thinking of the right words.
For the downs, yeah.
For the downs. So I just skipped that one. The next one was 28 and 30 across. 28 being some aquarium attractions or an instruction for answering 30 across. And the answer to that was octopi. And 30 across was like the tail of a stegosaurus. And it turned out, doing the downs, the word answer was socked, S-O-C-K-E-D. Makes no sense whatsoever. So I'm like, okay. So then I went to the next one, and here's where I finally figured out what was happening. 44 and 45 across. 44 across, informal name for a weather event or an instruction for answering 45 across. And the answer to that was T-storm. Well, 45 across was precursor to a license. And I'm like, I know this one. It's permit. But permit didn't fit. So then I looked back at T-storm and realized that you could put, or you could parse that to say TS to RM. And I thought, RM is in permit. But if I replace it with TS, I get pet sit, like babysitting for a pet sit. And I'm like, and then all of the downs worked. So it's like, aha, the instruction, because it kept saying instruction for answering the next one.
Right. So
go back to octopi. You've got OC to PI. So if you take the OC out of socked and put in PI, you get spiked, and that is like the tail of a stegosaurus. Mm-hmm. And also the rat out could be RA to UT. So you take the RA out of greater, put UT in, and you get gutter, which was the right answer that I thought it should be, but then all of the downs worked as well. So anyway, that was the theme. And there was one more.
51 across.
51 across. This was a very complicated one. Part of a beer name or an instruction for answering 53 across, and 53 across was certain clergy member. Well, if you answered the downs right, the answer there was bar hop, which is certainly not a certain clergy member. But the part of the beer name was Artois, for Stella Artois beer, and so, or AR to IS. And so if you take the AR out and put IS in, you get bishop, which definitely is a clergy member.
And that's the one where I figured it out. On the very last one, because I sort of kept postponing thinking about it. And so I had the left-hand side of the grid fully filled in, and then I had big holes in the right side. But it was on 51 across and 53 across that I finally saw the light.
Very good. Very good.
And there were some, speaking of very good clues throughout.
Oh, yes. I really enjoyed doing this because I thought this is it's a clever theme. But yeah, it was a fun solve just with all the other clues.
And yeah, they were crisp, I thought. And, I mean, even like one across real estate, e.g., was asset.
Right.
It took me a while to get. Kept thinking about acreage and things like that. But,
right.
And they had 14 across, Frida, who portrayed her chronic pain through art, Kalo.
Yes.
I think we've seen that name maybe not too long ago.
Yes, I believe the whole name, wasn't it? Frida Kahlo.
Well, let's see. In terms of the last name, I don't remember when we saw the full name. The last name we last saw in December of 2024.
Yeah, it was before that. So
you're saying that the whole name was in there?
I think so.
We will put X word info to the test, and apparently not.
Maybe it was just Frida then. So.
Frida. Let's see. Frida showed up December 22nd of 2024.
Oh, well, maybe it was another crossword I was doing.
That could be. Mm-hmm. That could be.
Yeah. So
we had 6 across. I thought this was classy.
Oh, I remember the clue. It was Frida Kahlo, or it was I think the answer was like home country or something.
Oh, but Frida Kahlo was in the clue. Okay,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, listeners, when we're using xwordinfo.com, we're usually searching the answers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
6 across was first words of Carol's Jabberwocky, and that was 'twas. 'Twas brillig. That's all I remember.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure there's more to it than that.
I didn't remember any of it, but I said to myself, I bet it's something like 'twas.
Yes.
'Twas the night before Christmas.
And there was something about Slithy Trove or something of that. Yeah. I should go and reread that, I think.
No. I liked 18 across. You're in on this? At 2 Brute.
Yes. Yeah, I got that and then didn't quite believe it because I couldn't get the downs to work.
Right, yes.
But eventually was able to, because the second letter I had UT, for example, for a 19 down intermediary was supposed to be broker, but it had to be a U because of gutter.
Right, yes.
So that was slowing me down.
Yes, I thought, well, busker. It looked like busker would work. Is a busker an intermediary?
Not really.
I don't think so.
So. We had 10 down, silent marching band position, parade rest.
Oh, yes.
I found that difficult.
Oh, me too.
I was like, okay, what do you call the conductor who walks backwards? It seems to me there's something involving a flag or a banner.
Yeah, they're flag bearers. I was trying to think of, someone who walks with the band but doesn't make any noise. But apparently it's when the whole band doesn't make any noise. Parade rest. So. Mm-hmm. Oh,
I see. I thought there was...
because there's the conductor and there's the drum major and there's the flags and then there's always somebody who kind of walks in the back just to make sure everybody's okay.
They don't lose anyone?
Yeah, So I was thinking about, various roles of people that don't make any noise, but they're still like part of the band. But
see, and up until this moment, I was still thinking that, and I thought parade rest was the name of somebody in the parade. Here comes the band leader. Here comes the parade rest.
No, it's when they march, but they don't play.
Ah.
So, parade rest.
We had 7 down, like Hawaii among the 50 states. And it looked like it was going to be the word. First of all, I thought it was going to be westest.
Yes, I did too. That's what I put in, westest.
Because it's the most.
That doesn't really seem like a word. But...
No, that's really stretching it. Will would never approve. But it was wettest.
Wettest.
Which made more sense, much more sense.
Yes.
Although I do sort of like westest. And then in the far right, we had 13 down. Person it should be impossible to surprise. Seer.
Yes.
That was cute. Also cute was 15 across. Water wheel? Question mark. And that was helm.
Yes. Yes.
That
did not come to me right away.
No. Well, because 6 down was subject of this land is your land. Informally was the U.S.
Yes.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out.
I wanted to say USA, or then I thought, well, maybe it's America, because they say America, but that's more than the number of squares we had. But the U.S. fit.
Yeah, I had a terrible time with 27 across because what fit there it was Blank of Solomon, and I thought, oh, I know this for sure, Song of Solomon.
Yes, me too.
I mean, that has to be the answer, except it wasn't even close. It was Odes of Solomon.
Odes of Solomon. I don't know what that.
I don't think that's a real thing. We'll have to look that up. Of course, it is in the New York Times, so probably is.
Maybe in some Christian sects, or maybe in some other religions that include that as part of their scripture. Maybe they call it the Odes of Solomon.
Or maybe just somebody sat down and wrote a bunch of odes and said, here are the Odes of Solomon. More like Odes to Solomon, I guess. I liked 33 across. More likely to be marked down, say, was Staler.
Yes.
At first, it was 6 letters, and at first I thought it was going to be budget. Then I was thinking about it as is. I was really flailing about there. It also didn't help that 33 down was fulcrum sculptor Richard, and the answer was Sarah. Serra.
I did not know that.
So I take it you've never seen the fulcrum work of art?
No, maybe I have, and I've just forgotten it.
I mean, I've seen a fulcrum.
Yes.
But maybe not Richard Serra's. And close to that, 37 across, comedian Chelsea, was Peretti.
Yes.
That was the point at which I was thinking, I really hope I can get this crossword done.
Yes, I know. There were a lot of things in here I didn't know. The one right before that, 34 across, was...
Diplomacy.
And I'm like, I just couldn't think of any word for diplomacy that means diplomacy. It turned out to be finesse.
I had the F and the I, though. Because
that would have helped.
23 down was bakery purchase. That was loaf. And then 24 down was when Elphaba sings Defying Gravity and Wicked. And I thought, well, it's got to be either Act 1 or Act 5.
Yeah.
Or I suppose it could be Act 10 if they really go on a bit.
Right, yes.
But it was Act 1.
Act 1,
so I had the FI. Let's see. There was 3 down I thought was cute. Weight measurement commonly known by only its second part, short ton.
Yes.
Just known presumably as
called a short ton.
Ton. 39 down was enlightening. That was Singer Cruz with the 2010 hit Dynamite. So, of course, first of all, I'm struggling because I don't know Peretti. Now I need to know the starting of the Singer Cruz.
Right.
So that was going to be Ted Cruz. Perhaps before he became a senator, he was a singer with a 2010 hit Dynamite. But it was...
And for flair, he spelled his name T-E-D-D. Since you had 4 squares there.
That's true. Teddy. But it was TAIO, T-A-I-O. And I started listening to some of Mr. Cruz's hits. They're really good. Yeah, it's just like, wow, why did somebody not tell me about this before? And a quick check, the New York Times didn't try because that is a debut for them.
Yeah.
And close to that was another one, 38 down, activity for many HS juniors, high school juniors. And I had it ending in prep, and I thought, it's one of those tests.
Right.
And then I thought LSAT, which I think that's for getting into law school, right? So it's like, well, maybe they're hearing so much about how important the judiciary is now. They're going right from junior high to law school. And then I thought maybe it was going to be MCAT. getting into medical school.
No.
And then I thought there's some other...
There's PSAT.
Yes, that was the one.
That's what I thought it was.
But it just turned out to be test prep.
Test prep.
Sort of generic testing there.
Because some people take the SATs and some take the
ACTs.
And some take the PSATs. And so, yeah.
Some take all of them because they're gluttons for punishment.
Well, they're doing their best to get into the college they want to be in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We had 47 across. That was sort of a bit of a mystery to me. NASCAR blank demographic group, the NASCAR dads.
Yes.
Wonder who those are.
Well, probably just
dads who go to NASCAR.
Who like NASCAR.
Yeah, pretty much spells it out there, I guess. Shouldn't be too surprised.
We also had a throwback from the day before, 62 across Witherspoon of little fires everywhere. Reese. We just had a whole puzzle of Reese's pieces, and
that's true.
Reese again.
Yes, Reese, but Reese alone and Reese assembled, not in pieces. Right. So Reese has appeared a total of 454 times.
Oh wow!
Almost always it was Witherspoon.
The actress. So.
Well, actually, here I just ran it down to 1944 when it first appeared, and there it was American Poetess. Or, I'm sorry, let me try that one more time. American Poetess. Actually, how do you pronounce that?
I thought it was Poetess.
Poetess? I don't know, it sounds like POTUS.
Not quite.
And then we had Pee Wee Blank, Dodgers shortstop.
Oh, Pee Wee Reese, yeah.
They had to make a crossword that just recycles clues from 1950 and before. I bet that would really mess people up. That could be a Saturday.
Wordplay would just explode with comments.
That's right.
About how bad.
Well, I think they'd have to warn people. If you were alive today, you probably have not solved this crossword. No, actually, that's not true. That would only be 75 years. Never mind. Let's see. I was mentioned in the crossword.
Yes, you were.
Podcasters need Mike.
That's right.
I was so proud. And then I thought, maybe
that was a little nod to you from Will.
It could be.
The author.
Trouble is, I don't think I'm a podcaster's need. I'm part of this podcast's need.
We certainly need you for this one.
All right, but no others. We had 54 down. Commercial items sometimes advertised as twistable. Oreo.
Yep.
One more time, Oreo.
Once again.
Having appeared a total of 501 times. Not much more than Reese, to be honest.
That's true. But Oreo really... I mean, it's just one thing. Reese is Pee Wee Reese, Reese Witherspoon, Reese's Pieces. I mean, there's lots of Reeses, but only one Oreo.
Well, no. From 1952 to 1993, it only got mentioned once as a cookie. The rest of the time, it was a reference to a mountain calm form, the Oreo. And when Will stepped in, he apparently said, forget the mountain stuff, because it's been cookies ever since.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's no mention whatsoever of mountains starting in 1994 to, as far as I can tell, the present. Boy, there have been a lot of... Will must just feast off of these things. I'm convinced he gets a little bit of a cutback.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't do that. He's too honest. This crossword was by Hannah Slovett.
Nice.
It's her second. Yes, indeed. Her first was in 2018. I think she needs to get a third one in here much sooner than 7 years from now. So Hannah, start working on it. Maybe she already is. And that is it for today. So thanks everyone for listening. Friday's crossword is going to be out. We're going to tackle it.
You bet.
And we'll be back to talk about that crossword tomorrow.
Bye-bye.